You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. How do you try to make sense of LSU Auburn when LSU it's got its issues clearly, but is ascending, and this is an Auburn team that is just not very good?
They're not. They're bad. It's a bad football team. Now, if you haven't watched them, look at the record. They've played bad teams. They should have got beat last week. So they beat San Jose State and somebody else at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, Mercer.
Yeah, Mercer and Penn State both, curb stomped them. So, they beat LSU. They could be 4-1, and it is the ugliest and worst 4-1 for a Power 5 program in the country. For a pretty storied program and a team that's used to running the ball and winning, they're having the same problem too. They can't come out now. For them, they can't come out at halftime and do it. I watch them in the second half. They're brutal. They can't. Their quarterback situation is up and down. They're playing two quarterbacks. Heck, they got to their fourth quarterback, if I'm not mistaken, this past weekend because of a banged up. They're depleted on the offensive line. I mean, everywhere you look, and I'm trying to figure out, because he's been a good coach in the past. It just looks to me, I don't know how much buy-in there is with Brian Harsin right now. It's weird. It is. This program, you don't normally go into a game saying if you play good football, you'll beat them down. I mean, because Auburn's competitive, and I know this is a competitive series. I get all that. But if anybody that's watched Auburn this year, they'll bore you to death. They should not be 3-1. And they don't scare anybody. Now, it's still college football. You know how guys can get up and somebody can get hot, but bad second-half team. They flounder around in games and let teams that shouldn't hang around. And they got beat by a better football team earlier. So I don't know if there's much to like. And I haven't paid much attention defensively to their team because of the competition. But I know that up front you can challenge them and move that line of scrimmage with the depletion in the offensive line, and they don't dominate the run game like we're used to Auburn doing it, and they don't seem to have a rhyme or reason or an identity right now. And you get up on them and make them chase in the second half, chances are it's going to be a long game for the Tigers. Auburn meaning.
Sean, we've looked at, October for LSU is Auburn, home against Tennessee, at Florida, home against Ole Miss. So, this is the make or break 4-game stretch to determine if you're going to be a good football team this year. How good can this LSU team be if they keep improving?
We're going to find out. I think we know what Brian Kelly, we know how good a coach he's been, Matty, in the past. We know, and it takes a minute for guys to get the guys you want, to get the quarterback rolling the way you want. And we know that they've got a playmaker quarterback. See, the one thing about him with his legs and when he's going good, he's dynamic. Now, of course, we've talked about the challenging and vertical passing game and big plays at the perimeter, but he is good enough in these games to keep them in all of them. But when you look at it, think about your easiest game of the group you just mentioned. Is this week?
Yeah, for sure.
Is this week, and normally you'd say, "Ooh, that's for Tennessee." Tennessee's a top 10 team, and their quarterback's playing like a Heisman Trophy winner. Ole Miss, we know what Lane's doing. They're playing great football, and they're just waiting for crowds to perk up so they can get some home people, some people at home. And Florida, while after the first game we crowned them and a Heisman Trophy winner, they've come down to earth a little bit, but they are capable of that game. So this is, I don't know if you believe in must-wins early, but I think there are some where you say, you got to get this one. And it may not be for LSU for they're a national championship team because they're not right now. But I think for what you're trying to build to test yourself, I think Brian Kelly loves this because you're going to get a chance to test his team against Tennessee and Ole Miss that are really good. Florida is dangerous because the quarterback's dynamic, and we know that they're well coached. And Auburn, I guess it makes them dangerous because they've been so bad. You're thinking, okay, at what point in time do they actually do something really good? But we're going to find out how good. And I think when at the end of this 4-game stretch in October, once we head into November and Halloween's over, we're going to get a good idea of where their major strengths are, even though we think we know, and where there may be some weaknesses. But it is a tough road. And remember, Ole Miss and Tennessee are going to test your conditioning.
Yeah.
They play fast and they run a lot of plays. So And heck, I think last week Florida ran like 90-some plays against Tennessee, like 30 more, and Tennessee still beat them. So dangerous. I think we're still in a state of like purgatory, not knowing just where they're going. But it's LSU. They get great football players, and they got a coach who understands winning. So it's going to be, give them a minute. I didn't expect them to be a 10 or 9 win team this year.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.